What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Atomic Dom's Sobro Garage. Today we're doing some other stuff besides putting the clutch and pilot bearing over there. So we're going to work on our T5, and we're going to try and replace this here retainer bearing, but we got to get the race out of here so that we can put it into back onto the front of our T5. So what I'm doing is just going to pop that race out of there because you got to reuse that for the other one, and then hopefully this will all slam together. All right, so going to attempt this left-handed, but it looks like it just takes a little bit of pressure and it'll pop right up. So I don't know if you saw it or not. So I'm trying to watch all the wrong things. But anyhow, try not to scratch that that race. But it looks like I can just get that screwdriver underneath there and just give it a little twist and it should be loose. So, all right, let's see if we can pop it out. I suck left-handed, by the way. Oh, damn. All right, hang on. All right, so we popped it out. Just needed just need another hand. All right. So there's the brand manufacturer there. Pretty simple. Right, just pull it out. We're gonna clean that up. And clean it up, and then we'll slam it on top of the other piece of the bearing there. All right, we just finished up. Steel bearing retainer is on. All right, new bearing race. I shouldn't say new bearing race, but the bearing race was installed on top of the bearing, and everything is all sealed up and ready to go. A little RTV around there. I hate using that shit, but seems like a decent place to use it. Not too critical, I guess, but no gasket, so have to use it, I guess. All right, so that's it. We are getting steps closer to getting the Sobro 50 from the Atomic Dom's Sobro Garage back on the road and slowly getting it assembled. So here's what we're doing. We're going to go inside the bell housing and we're going to measure the distance from the clutch fingers to the surface of the bell housing, which is right here. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to take all this, we're going to take that throwout bearing out of there and that arm out of there. Those are gone because we're going hydraulic. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do that with a set of calipers. Okay, we're going to measure that using the other end and a straight edge. We're going to put the straight edge across here, and then we're going to measure all the way back. If you've not used these are a real godsend, so, or an engineering send, whatever. So very, very helpful, and you can measure in metric or inches or whatever it is that you like. I personally like metric because I know half of 120 millimeters is 60. So pretty simple math, but anyway, we're going to use this end right here. So we're going to, right down there, we're going to push that all the way back to those fingers, and then we're going to measure to this surface. But we need a straight edge to span that distance. So that's the start. All right, so I've sort of dislodged the throwout bearing and the arm from its little retaining nut up there, little ball, and there you can see there's the front of our clutch. And then we've got to measure from that to this housing surface out here. So let me get that out of there, and then we'll see what we can do to make some progress on this thing. Trying to do this one-handed and holding a light is a little weird. Alright, so we're just going to take this out the side. Alright, so if you've lubed these things up properly, it's going to be pretty messy. So, alright, discard that. Alright, here's a quick look at how we do it. Okay, so we take our caliper and we extend our little feeler gauge back there all the way to the highest point of those fingers on the clutch. And then we measure from there to the distance of the straight edge. We'll have to subtract the distance of the straight edge, which is 1 inch. So right now I'm coming up with 4.9 and 324 thousandths. So I will subtract 1 inch out of that, which will obviously be 3.9 and some change. So that's how we gather our distance. So we'll write that number down. All right, so here is our Tilton 6000 series throwout bearing, hydraulic throwout bearing. I really like this just because it's got this adjustable spacer in the back, I think that's better than using these, shims that people are throwing on there, but that's just me. So this is going to go onto on the T5 in this manner. You'll want these hoses to stick out whatever side of the transmission is, and in my case, it happens to be the driver's side. So, and then we will use a lock nut, a guide that goes through this little ear right here, right there, and it's probably going to bolt into one of these two locations, and that keeps the throwout bearing from spinning while on this shaft. Okay, so we've got to measure the distance from this plate to the front of the throwout bearing and subtract according to what we have on the bell housing on the other side. So a bit of math, but it seems fairly easy when they explain the math. I don't think it's all that hard. All right, so now we're ready to put our hydraulic throwout bearing onto our input shaft. Okay, so there's a small O-ring inside here that's going to need some sort of lubricant, and then they say petroleum jelly or something like that. I'm going to go with assembly lube and see how that goes. So that's my next step. All right, so this is a really tight fit on here, so petroleum jelly might be a good idea, but dang. So you really got to get it to slide on there. Bearing sleeve is in place. It's butted up against the retainer bearing housing. All right, and then we're just going to extend these little cables here, these tubes, and we're just going to roll this baby on until it gets back, and then we're going to start taking some measurements. And then do some subtraction, get our stuff all together. So there, we're seated all the way to the bottom, okay? All right, so this little ear here, you gotta have to locate that. All right, that ear right there, you're gonna have to locate to one of these areas so that it can fit secure. And they've got a tolerance on here of like a 1/4 inch or something, so 250 thousandths is quite a bit. I would think you're okay to kind of be out of bounds a little bit, but anyway, all right, that's that.